Trojan family, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, now is the time, and the time is now. Listen, USC gets ready to open up against Penn State tomorrow. And listen, it's about to be go time. It's on and popping. It's on and cracking. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. I'm picking USC outright. We're going to talk about this real quick. I want to talk about some of the reasoning why I feel like USC will come out on the victory side, with this Penn State team. Listen, this is an explosive Penn State team. There's no denying it. Some of their strength is our weaknesses, but I believe that Lincoln Riley, when your back is up against the wall, I believe that you got to do some things in order to, get off the ropes. And I believe that Lincoln Riley, it's time for him to really get off the ropes, especially when you're talking about the play calling. You guys know Lincoln Riley is a mastermind in play calling. You guys, I brought you guys a couple of things this week, showing you, those who watched it, showing you guys that, what Lincoln Riley did at Oklahoma, how he opened up the offense, how the offense was opened up, especially when you're talking about edge guys coming and attacking them. I mean, he would constantly do some screenplays. I actually showed it what Baker Mayfield did. Baker Mayfield ran Lincoln Riley's offense. It was incredible. He did some instinctive things as well. But one of the things that I noticed, you guys know I talked about it earlier this week, is that he would roll Baker Mayfield out the pocket. And Baker Mayfield, while he rolled out, he had the option to either pitch it back or he had the option to throw it. And sometimes he would do the pump fake and he would throw it. And then sometimes he would tuck it and run with it. I believe this is the kind of way that we have to play this particular Penn State team. But we're going to go over some numbers, some strength of schedule. I just believe that USC is going to do those things and they're going to execute. And I think if we come out with the same type of energy that we had against LSU and, get off to a solid start, we keep the penalties, no crazy errors, and we just play smart, fundamental football. I think that USC will come out victorious. I believe that USC has some athletes that are mismatches, for the Penn State DBs. I don't believe Penn State defense, from a defensive pass defense, I don't believe that's their strength. Of course, we know that the run defense is their strength, and that's what we got to try to the run defense. Well, let me say this: the pass defense, from a pass rush standpoint, they're decent. But from a defensive back standpoint, I believe we have the mismatch. Guys like Jacoby Lane, guys like Deuce Robinson. And look, I want to see, and I'm serious about this, I want to see guys like Kyle Ford be in there. We need to get some physical guys in there and let physical match up against physical and see how it works out. I believe our physical guys can outmatch their physical guys, especially when you talk about our wide receiver group. So that's one of the things that I want to see. But when you look at them, and their strength of schedule, you guys know I'm very active on Twitter. And one of the things that I put out on Twitter earlier yesterday was this. This was a statement that I put out. I'm confident that USC has faced stronger competition so far compared to what Penn State has already encountered. While Penn State is a very talented team, I believe USC experience this season will give them the edge in this particular game. I also feel like Penn State has not faced competition like USC has. And when you look at their schedule, they won 21-7 against Illinois. Of course, they played UCLA 27-11. Of course, and then they played West Virginia and they won that game 34-12. Then they played Bowling Green 27-34, and then they played Kent State. They won that game 56-0. So right now, you really don't see just no heavy hitters on their team. Look at some of the teams that USC has already played. Of course, you guys know we played LSU. That's a strong team. What do you guys think Penn State record would be right now if they face Michigan right now? If they faced Wisconsin right now? And I'm not saying Wisconsin is just that dominant team. But I'm saying if they face Minnesota, if they face LSU, what do you guys think Penn State's record would be right now? Penn State really hasn't had that test that USC had. USC's already had a couple of tests. And I'm not just saying we just face some just number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 type of teams. But I think we faced a better competition. I think we're battle tested compared to them. So when I look at this, I'm just really putting my mind into it and just looking at it from a schematic standpoint. We know that pass rush, those defensive ends are second to none. That defensive line is legit. This is probably going to be the second best defensive line that we faced thus far. Of course, Michigan being the number one, this is going to be the number two. And so I think that there's some things, and the fact that we have it at home, I think is going to be advantage USC. The stat that came out, I think, is 1-8. 1-8, I think, is a stat that is out there right now for the teams that in the Big Ten that had to travel. Of course, Michigan went to Washington last week, and they lost that game. Of course, you guys know we've traveled, and I don't think, this is something that the Big Ten may have to look at and may have to factor in with the scheduling when you talk about from the number standpoint, statistically, this season, how does it work out for these teams that travel very far away? Because Penn State, Happy Valley, where the stadium is located, they had to, I believe, go to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is about approximately, I think, 2 hours away from Penn State, the actual university. So I don't think they had a plane or something that can take off the runway, something kind of crazy. And so they're doing crazy traveling, 2 hours bus ride to the airport in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Then they got to make that big flight from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, all the way to LAX. And so you got to factor in all this stuff. How worn out would they be? They did it on yesterday. And so now when you're taking long flights like that, your body will feel it. So, all that stuff comes into play. We're not sure how it's factoring in with USC, even how they travel to Minnesota. Then they travel to Michigan. I mean, they play some long games. So now it's Penn State's turn to do that. And so Penn State, from all that, you couple all that with the talent that's going to be put on the field from USC, the traveling, I believe that it's going to be a good combination and a recipe to have USC come in and make some things happen. Now, I want to look at a couple of things real quick from a matchup standpoint. And you guys know, man, like I mentioned the defensive end, but that tight end, that number 44, listen, we got to keep him. That is their best receiver on the field. I'm not going to say I'm not worried about anybody else, but that dude is a problem. And he kind of does a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And they use him all types of ways. But when you look at this from a matchup standpoint, strength of schedule, look at Penn State's schedule. This is what I'm talking about. Strength of schedule, Penn State's currently 95th. That's their strength of schedule. USC's strength of schedule right now is 41st. And this is what I'm talking about. Penn State hasn't faced anybody like the way USC has, 41st to 95th thus far. And so that means that the competition that they play has not been just all the way up to par. And so when you look at the passing yards per game, they're ranked number 47 in the country. Number 47 from our passing yards, we're ranked number 18th in the country. And so advantage USC. When you look at the rushing yards per game, they're 12th in the country. So they are a heavy rushing team. And then when you look at our rushing yards per game, we're ranked 70th in the country. So 12 to 70th in the rushing yards. Pass defense, they're ranked 8th, and we're ranked 9th. So you see there, that's a close combination when you're talking about the pass defense. Their rush defense is ranked 7th. And so we know that we're gonna have a time trying to run the ball, but I think we just got to continue to do it and then create some plays. And from our rushing defense, we're ranked 76 in our rush defense. Third down conversion rate, from an offensive perspective, they're ranked 6th. Our third down conversion rate is ranked 9th. And so you see that's kind of even as far as that's concerned. Red zone scoring, they're ranked 40th. And then our red zone scoring, we're ranked 36th. And so the red zone defense, they're ranked 21st. Our red zone defense, we're ranked 29th. And so you see, look, USC, it's a couple of things that Penn State, excuse me, is ahead of us on. Of course, it's going to be the rushing defense. But you look at all the other stuff, the pass defense and a couple of other things, third down conversions, USC is right there. We're not just lost in the sauce. And listen, we're just a couple plays away. You guys remember Michigan game and factor in all of the holding calls and all of the other things that USC had to battle up against. And even with Minnesota. Now, I will say this. We don't want to put ourselves in a Minnesota situation, period. Minnesota was a situation where we didn't even have to be in that situation if we didn't do it ourselves. Of course, we had the fumble. Quinn Joyner had the fumble. He's not a guy that fumbles all the time. They had the passing interference on Jalen Smith. I don't even believe that was an accurate call right there. And then, of course, Miller Moss had the interception in the end zone. Oh, well, yeah, no, excuse me, not the interception. The missed pass to Zachariah Branch in the end zone. So there was a couple things. Then there was some drop passes. Listen, if we correct ourselves, I'll call that beating ourselves. If we correct our own mistakes, I think we'll be okay. Now, how do we handle the pass rush? You guys know who watched my video yesterday. I told you guys that I had a source that told me, listen, there is going to be some tight end help, maybe on both sides. I don't know if it's going to be on both sides. I was just told tackle help. There's going to be some tackle help. And so whether they put the tight ends on both sides or are they going to have two running backs in the backfield to where they're able to make these blocks, we'll see how it happens, how it unfolds. But there's going to be some help. Now, here's my suggestion. As I stated, the way Baker Mayfield would do those rollouts, we got to have some rollouts. It's no way with the pass rush. Them guys, I don't know if they're running 4-4s or what, but that number 11, he is the business. He's the truth. And so whether they have some rollouts, whatever, we need those. We need some screens. I would like to even see some design, Zachariah Branch screen, whatever, flare coming out the backfield. Let's do some things to get him out in open space. To where he doesn't have to think too hard as it relates to like running routes and catching ball, in the middle. Get him in some open space and make some things happen. And I want to see Zachariah Branch do the same thing he did at LSU. I would like to see him return one back. I want to see Zach Branch return one back. So, look, man, I'm out of here. I'm not going to go in too hard on this, man. But, look, I have a prediction for USC versus Penn State, and I'm going to pick it. I'm saying the score is going to be 31-27. It's going to be USC. 31-27 USC. I believe it's going to be a close game, but I believe that USC is going to be able to hang on. And look, Lincoln Riley he talked about Miller Moss is going to be his guy. You guys know I'm a big guy of bringing Jaden Mayava in as packages, but I guess we're not going to see that. But look, we're going to need Miller Moss to take those chances sometime if you see the open lane. If you see an open lane and the pocket collapse on you, we got to see you coming up the middle and taking that run. Yes, Miller can run. Miller's not just, I know a lot of people making reference to him, being a statue, but I've seen Miller run on a couple times, and I had somebody just tell me the other day that he's actually fast. But we got to see it because I think this is the game. Listen, there's levels to this. You have to move and groove in a certain way. When the pocket collapses on you, sometime you're just gonna have to step up. I showed you guys the clip earlier where Baker Mayfield did that same thing. So look, man, we expect that from Miller this week, man. We expect this team. And listen, Miller could do it. We know that he could do it. And there's no question in my mind about Miller's accuracy if he's given the time. We know I told you guys before that Miller could fit the ball in tight spaces better than Jaden Mayava probably because I like I told you guys before. I know about Jaden Mayava's run ability. I know he has a strong arm. But as far as fitting the ball in tight spaces, I haven't seen that yet. I want to see it. I haven't seen that yet. And so, but I do believe that Jaden Mayava adds a different dynamic to this offense and will possibly one day add a different dynamic to this offense. So look, man, you guys hit me in these comments. You guys tell me what you think. Drop those scores in the comment section. Tell me what you think it's going to be. You guys already know where you can find me. It's going to be USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. Listen, everybody that comes on, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button. It helps me out in the algorithm. My analytics always tells me that I get so many people, over 125, 130,000 people to come on here every 28 days. Same people coming back. Over 70% of the people, the same ones coming back. But you guys need to hit that subscribe button. I should have 30, 40,000 subscribers, excuse me, given the fact that it's the same people that come back every month. So look, hit me in the comments. You guys tell me what you think. It's USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. The Trojans will win on Saturday. Fight on, fight on, fight on.